Governor Chris Christie has served as the governor of New Jersey since 2010.
Thank you, Governor. Let me start, and I want to get to some questions that hit home here in New Hampshire. But first, as president, should a president ever sanction the payment for the release of an American citizen held captive by terrorists?
No, and absolutely should not. We can't do that. We can't negotiate with terrorists. I understand this. I was a United States attorney for 7 years in New Jersey, fought against terrorism, appointed right before September 11th. We just encourage those folks by doing that. We can't do it.
Governor, it may be the message. It may be that Republicans aren't great communicators like Democrats, but entitlement reform is a tough subject. We know that some of the most popular programs, Medicare, disability with Social Security, they're basically going insolvent or will be broke. They'll go under soon. To tell the Americans they have to give something up, a program they may like, and not want to give up or see cut, is a tough message. How do you win an election for president and tell the truth on entitlement reform?
First off, you have to have a concrete plan. You can't just speak in generalities and vague generalities to folks. 71% of federal spending right now is between entitlements and debt service. When the American people hear that, they understand that what we're doing is we're mortgaging away not only our children's future, but also killing those programs. So we need to tell them the truth. We need to tell them that we're living now much longer and much better quality of life. That's a blessing. So we need to increase the retirement age over a period of time. I've said 2 years over the next 25 years. We need to tell them that for those who are most fortunate, and I just heard Lindsay say this, we need to say to those folks, if you've done very well in this country, then we need you to not take a Social Security check. Those are things that Americans are willing to hear. The problem is us. We underestimate the American people. They've always risen to challenges, especially challenges that promise them a better future for their children and grandchildren. It's not the American people who are failing the entitlement system. It's the leaders of our country who are failing the American people by not telling them the truth.
Governor, I want to ask you quickly, two groups very important to me. One is veterans in New Hampshire. We have one of the highest populations per capita of veterans in America. We do not have a full-time VA hospital. Should every state have a full-time VA hospital?
No. What should happen, in my view, is that every veteran should be kept the promise that was given to them, which is they should be able to take their veterans card and go to any health care provider in any hospital in America and get treatment when they ask for it. They shouldn't have to wait on a VA line. If they want to go to a VA hospital, that's great. Good for them. But if they want to go someplace else, we should keep that promise to our veterans. And we're not keeping that promise right now because of the incompetence of this administration. So let's get the VA to do what they need to do, which is to provide health care to our folks through the card to any health care provider, and let the American public step up to the plate like we want to honor our veterans by giving them the health care that they've been promised.
The governor of New Hampshire, the mayor of the state's largest city, have called the heroin crisis now one of the biggest crises facing New Hampshire here. One of the folks working here tonight asked me pretty passionately if I would ask one of you this tonight. Her daughter recently passed away to a heroin overdose. She's now trying to do some good with it. She wants to know why there's not rehabilitation in prison, why there's not more help for these addicts versus just arresting them when they have to turn to prostitution or breaking into a family's member home or car just to get more money to support their habit. Why are we falling down on the heroin crisis?
Listen, there should be, and there is in New Jersey. We're the first state in the country to say for first-time nonviolent drug offenders, no more prison. They're going to mandatory inpatient drug treatment because this is a disease, and the war on drugs has been a failure. Well-intentioned, but a failure. We're looking at this as a moral failing by people. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone in this audience has made a mistake. There, but for the grace of God, go I, for those people who have been stricken with the disease of drug and alcohol addiction. And what we need to do is to reach out as a public and embrace those people and say, if you're not a violent offender, if you're not dealing drugs to our children, then we need to get you treatment rather than prison. And the fact is that this can happen to anyone. People think that this is somehow guided by socioeconomic or educational standards. It's not. Anyone can have this happen to them. And what we need is to have a country, and we need to have a president who's going to stand up and say, this is a disease and we need to fix it.
Thank you, Governor.